All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the 4th and 17 podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Talking about the recap of the divisional rounds. Four pretty solid games this week against some of the top teams in the NFL. First things first, Hemish, how you doing, partner?
That's the question I look forward to every time we podcast. Hey, how you doing, Hemish? No, I'm good, man. It was like you said, really four really good games, right? They lived up to the billing, I think. Really down, good storylines in the games, everything like competitive. It was good to see. And then you had the nightcap, the Bucks Saints, really good game too. So that was good. So all around, can't complain. Sucks that we're down to conference championship, only
It's
two
getting
games now
there.
on Sunday.
It's getting there.
You know, it gets better, for us, me and you, Eagles and 49ers fans.
Yeah,
So
we look forward to another year. So, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, look, well, let's hop right into this, man. The first game, man, it should have been closer, but unfortunately, the Rams lost this game 18-32. Um, man, the Rams defense did not show up, in my opinion, in this game. I mean, I, you know, don't get me wrong, Devontae Adams didn't really have a monstrous game, 66 yards, one touchdown, but I don't. Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, they very spread offense here. Meaning it was everywhere. 296 in the yard or in the air with Aaron Rodgers, 99 yards on the ground with Aaron Jones. I mean, man, dude, the ball was everywhere. This defense could not stop them.
no, yeah, that offense, it looked unstoppable, right?
Whew.
With Aaron Rodgers, like he looks like we've seen him, in his MVP years, the Super Bowl years, but right now he looks like just at the peak of his powers. Like it's just like he looks like he's having fun. Like I saw some stuff on social media where it's like you see Aaron Rodgers and playing, and then people are taking it seriously, and you just see him like have like a smile, like a smirk on his face, like he's just playing pickup hoops. Like that was a tweet. I was like, damn, man, like imagine seeing that, just this guy playing casually, and he's a dog and you throwing dimes everywhere, and then you're just getting mad. Like he's a dog.
You know the crazy thing about Aaron Rodgers is I think there was a moment in time where we were like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is like the top, right? He's probably the number one, number two quarterback. But I think that was for such a small like period of time. I think, and this is just me personally. People could think I'm wrong, but I think he kind of goes underrated, especially the last couple of years. We're always like, oh, Patrick Mahomes, right? We talk about these young kids, the Lamar Jacksons of the world. We always talk about Tom Brady being the GOAT. But Aaron Rodgers quietly does big things. This team has always had like a pretty terrible personnel around him, and he somehow still manages to put up great numbers. I mean, in my opinion, like I said, I feel like sometimes we take for granted the goatness that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't know. You can speak for yourself, man. Aaron Rodgers has always been a dog for like the past like fucking decade, man.
Oh, he
People
is, but I'm
like,
saying like I feel like sometimes we don't really give him like that true credit.
yeah, you said it exactly. That I think when Patrick Mahomes was on his rise, right, then like he was the new young guy, like doing everything, and the Packers were struggling, right? They didn't have good teams around him. It was like Mike McCarthy's last year, so
Right.
they were sucking. And I think he got hurt that one year where he broke his collarbone or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
he didn't get to play. Uh, but last year, first year in a new system, new head coach, like it was an adjustment period for him, right? And they still went 13-3. Like he still had he was the only
Correct.
reason they won 13 games, honestly. But this year it's a different type of 13-3. It's like more controlled. Like they're able to do what they want, and he knows how to do it. But he's definitely underrated in terms of being like an all-time GOAT. Just the way he throws the ball, is able to control the game. I think he puts more fear in defenses than a lot of the quarterbacks that I've played. I think people would tell you that. I mean, people have said like if you put Rodgers, with Belichick instead of Brady, like that team would have won more Super Bowls, which is
Oh yeah. Oh
crazy
yeah.
because Brady won fucking six. So
Six.
so I think Brady even knows that Rodgers is more physically gifted than him. I think he made some comments that kind of says that. So man, Rodgers, he's probably gonna be top five quarterback in my opinion of all time, just the way he's able to play. But you saw it here, like he's controlling the game. That, like we said, that defense was really good. Like they were
Yeah.
able to stop everybody. I think what hurt Aaron Donald was not fully healthy. He had
Yep.
issues with his rib and
His
whatnot.
ribs.
So I'll give him a pass there. But the defense on the other side, Jalen Ramsey, he tried to, like you said, Devontae didn't have that good of a game. I think Jalen was on him a good amount, and they didn't want to. I think they had a good game plan to stop him or slow Devontae down. But like you said, it was the other guys, and we said that that's what it was going to come down to. Aaron Jones, he had close to 100 yards, right? So
Correct.
that was big. And then you had Lazard scoring that long touchdown at the end of the game, which he dropped one early in the game, so he kind of made up for it. So that was a big play. So, and then people don't talk about this enough. The Packers defense, kind of stopped the Rams offense, which is not talked about enough.
His defense is, has quietly kind of, chipped away and gotten better as they've progressed through the season. I mean, we honestly thought early on that this was going to be their biggest kryptonite, right? I mean, you're only as good as your weakest player, and in this case, like their defense, I mean, their offense, we knew was kicking it right at the beginning of the season. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was throwing. I mean, he was having a hell of a year, but this defense, we were just kind of like, can they do it? Can they do it? How much? I mean, it was exactly what we talked about with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can only do so much. His defense is eventually going to have to step up, and we saw what happened there. The Green Bay defense has actually gotten really damn good as the years actually progressed. So I mean, but this Rams, I mean, let's talk about this. There was some news that came out that there was a bit of a spat between,
I've been saying it.
yeah, I know, trust issues, as my boy Drake would say, between Jared Goff and Sean McVay.
Well, I mean, when you watch Rams games in their offense in particular, you know what their limiting factor is. It's 16 long arm quarterback Jared Goff,
Yeah.
like back there. The thing about him, like, you have to be there's this guy Eric Crocker I follow, good. He knows his shit football wise, and he was saying, like, for him, that type of quarterback, everything around him has to be perfect. And that's true. I mean, you see it. Like, they have to have the only reason they went to a Super Bowl is they had, Gurley, Cooper Kupp, Robert Cooks. Like, they had the stacked offense, and it was new. Jared Goff just played within the system, did well. And that's what he does. So Sean McVay, it's a lot on Sean McVay to make everything perfect for Jared Goff. Like, but sometimes that's not going to happen. Like, you have to be able to create. And Jared Goff has no mobility. His pocket presence is fucking trash. Like, he's slow as shit. Like, we're in the day and age right now where you need to be mobile to play quarterback, because edge rushers, defense, like all defenders are super fast, and you have to be able to create. That's where we see the greats. Patrick Mahomes, what does he do? He creates. Rodgers, fucking elusive as fuck.
Yep.
New guy, Josh Allen, baller, creates. Like the Niners game when they played the Niners, they were there. He just fucking whoop 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 went to the sideline and fucking Oh, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. So, like, these quarterbacks that are taking over the league are the quarterbacks that are mobile, can create when the game plan can't do that for them. So,
correct. Yeah, I mean, look, the unfortunate side is that he had pieces. I mean, he had pieces. Right? Like their window shut really quickly, right? I mean, 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl, and we were like, okay, this team is just starting, and that window has closed quick.
No, if you watch the moves that they made, it was going to close quick. They spend a lot of draft capital and stuff for the short term
defense,
fix. Like, they traded for Marcus Peters, right? They traded for Marcus Peters. They got him. They
Jalen
got
Ramsey.
They got Sue. Like, all these players, it's not a long term solution, but somehow they're able to do it. But I just give credit to Sean McVay. Like, the fact that they're still in this position with Jared Goff as quarterback, shows how good of a coach he is.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you said, it seems like their window is closing, but that's just with Jared Goff as quarterback. If he's able to maneuver from that contract and, take a hit and get a more mobile quarterback that maybe fits his offense better, play action, boot, all this type of stuff,
sure,
then they'll be back, because Sean McVay is a good coach. I think, he showed that being in the playoffs the last 3 years. So, or 4 years, I don't know what it is, or he missed last year, but 3 out of the 4 years he's been coaching, he'll be back. He just needs a quarterback. But yeah, Jared Goff's, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because he has a big cap hit. I think he's locked for next year.
Yep.
They could bring in a backup to kind of test him, make it a little bit interesting. So
QB competition out there.
It's gonna be, but I think the way the money they're paying him, they're gonna probably start him next year.
Here's the $1 million question: who would you rather have on your team right now, Carson Wentz or Jared Goff? You have to choose one.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Okay, that's
easy.
Okay. Well, hey, that was a unfortunately that was just a huge misstep for the Rams there. Defense obviously didn't show up. They got completely
Oh,
obliterated in this
oh,
game.
I bet you if John Wolford was healthy, they probably would have started John Wolford.
I mean, they took that risk in the
Yeah,
wild
no,
card round, right? I mean, that's exactly what it
I
was.
think they waited out until he couldn't play, and I think
Yeah.
they were gonna. I mean, that just shows. And his comments, right? He said, his comments like he's our quarterback right now. You know who said that last year? Kyle Shanahan about Jimmy Garoppolo when
Yeah.
they went for Tom Brady. Like he's our quarterback right now. That's what
It's
Sean McVay learned.
key words. It's key words, right?
They know how to manipulate it. So
Well, and going back to look, I mean, we'll talk about this more in the offseason stuff, but after this game, right? I mean, the Rams just lost a few coordinators. I mean, there's there's a chance that this Rams team may not come back to, what we've been accustomed to the last couple of years. I mean, they still have a lot of the personnel on the defensive side, but I mean, this window, as we talked about, it has slowly started to shut. And I mean, like you said, right? I mean, you talked about the dysfunction between Goff and McVay at the wild card round, because, like you said, if Jared Goff was able to come in and play, he played the entire game essentially.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, if he was that healthy to play, they would have just started him, right? And you called that out last week. So obviously there's something that's going on in LA that needs to be addressed. So we'll see what happens in the offseason, but the Packers get this W and they move on. Let's go ahead and talk about this next game. The Ravens versus the Bills. Woo! I know you took the Ravens in this game, man, but never bet against Josh Allen.
Is that the new motto? That's the motto for
I,
this season, huh?
it sounds like a good motto. I mean,
Yeah.
look, it was a very low scoring game, 17-3. Defenses on both sides of the ball showed up. That being said, this Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs thing, I know we've been harping on it game week after week after week. This is some serious shit here, man. 106 yards for Stephon Diggs, one touchdown. That's the only touchdown Josh Allen threw that game. And their run game was garbage. I mean,
Trash.
combined rushing was less than 35 yards. I mean, put in
Not how they
perspective,
win.
you know what I mean? Like, it's. I mean, this was a defensive game. So I'll let you kick things off here. What'd you think?
Yeah, like you said, defensive battle. I kind of expected that just based on the physicalness of the teams that they've been showing. Right, they're both dogs, bullies. Ravens, it sucks. Lamar got concussed and out for the game, but that pick six, man, they had a chance, right? Justin Tucker, 2 field goals. It feels like the Ravens let this slip away. I mean, I'll give the Bills their credit. They fought. They made the plays, right? They made the pick six. They ran it all the way back. Josh Allen touchdown, Stephon Diggs. But felt like the Ravens had an opportunity, and it feels like the Bills forced the Ravens to be a passing team, and we just see how bad the Ravens offense is when they've been forced to do that. And it brings the question like, what's going to happen with their offense? Like, it's time to make changes. I think 3 years, same result, right? The offense
Yep.
hasn't progressed. It's just been Lamar progressing and just making wild plays and carrying the team to victories, and the defense being really good. But in terms of passing game, you haven't seen that much growth. So I think either they got to let Greg Roman go, or keep him and just get a new passing game coordinator, like bring someone on who can inject these new ideas and help Lamar, because Lamar doesn't even know what he doesn't know, right? Like in terms of passing, like he thinks
Yeah.
this is it, but it's not. It could be easier. They probably use a wide receiver, right? A better wide receiver than probably Dez. Dez is washed right now. Hollywood's good. The tight ends are good. They got Dobbins, good young running back. You have this nucleus. Just add one more piece, add a passing game coordinator, because they're right there. It's just like, it just feels like Lamar's James Harden, right?
Yeah.
Of the NFL, right? Like he's good, wild plays, stats galore. Like looks flashy, and when it gets to like nut crunching time, like he can't
it's
do
it's
it
not
because
there.
it's just like something there, and it's just like you want him to. I mean, people want Lamar to win because he's such a great guy, but he's limited by his coaching. I don't even think it's by him. He I think wants to pass, but he doesn't know what. Like I said, he doesn't know what he doesn't know what he doesn't know. So
Yeah, I think he's still stuck in that. Again, I mean, we talked about this all season long. Again, I mean, I think he's still stuck in what seems to be more of like a college style offense, and that's not going to help you win football games in the NFL.
No, it'll help you win football games. I want to help
Well,
you win
it's not going to
playoff
help you
games.
win in the playoffs. You're right. It'll get you to 10 plus wins in the regular season, but everyone knows playoff football and just playoffs in general. It's a different
Oh,
beast.
oh, I got a better comparison. Lamar Jackson's the Giannis of the
The-
NFL.
okay,
That's
okay.
better.
MVP, regular season winners.
I had to think about
Can't
it.
get it. No, you're right. I mean, that's exactly what it is. He puts up good numbers through the regular season, but again, it's one of those things where you and I have even talked about even the regular season, and they even won games. They won 10 plus games this season, and even we were like, to be honest, the defense helped them a lot. I mean,
Oh yeah.
having when you have a great defense like that, you're able to get away with the flaws that you have. I mean, you know, I'll put in perspective. If this was the same offense on the Packers team, I don't think this would have been a good team at all. Right? Like even if you put up these stats that we're talking about, I think the defense kind of overshadowed a lot of the pitfalls of Lamar Jackson. You know?
Yeah, no, it's just I think it's a lot on him, and he, like you said, the passing game is just not good. So until they get that fixed, man, this is their cap, man. Make divisional round, get bounced. Like
So, oh no, go ahead.
no, no, that I mean, like you can go ahead.
No, I was going to say. So I mean, we talked about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, but what about this potential Super Bowl team that we're
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
no,
yeah. Well, I mean,
I thought it would
what
have
did
been
you
a bad
see?
matchup, but they showed me wrong. That's a good team, man. They got good coaches. They got talent on all levels, right?
Yep.
Offensive line is really good. Then you have Josh Allen, be able the fucking ultimate creator. It seems like right now, like
Whew.
you know the three young quarterbacks in the or not three young, but three MVP candidates right now: Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers. Like maybe Brady's in there too because he is valuable. It shows, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh
these
yeah.
quarterbacks, I was just gonna say that those three are elusive and mobile and can create on their own. Brady not so much right now, but he's the ultimate pocket manipulator, and they've created. I will talk about that later, but he's good too. But it's a new wave, man. Mobile quarterbacks will get you there. They took you really far, and then they have to have good arms. So you'll probably see teams take gamble on these types of quarterbacks because remember Josh Allen coming out, he was a gamble. He had all these raw tools, and then like how are you going to put it together? You get a good OC, good plan. You surround him with talent. He's going to grow if they have the talent. So you're going to see that probably coming out in the draft where teams are going to take more risks because if it hits big. And this is like Bills are set for 10 to 15 fucking years right now. Like as
Yeah.
long as this guy wants to play,
Oh yeah.
this should be a normal for him. Conference championship. He made it in his third year. This is his third year, right? Yeah, third
Yep.
year.
Third year.
He should be making the conference divisional round at least every year.
And here's the other thing, right? I mean, and again, well, we'll see what happens in the future, but it looks like that division that they're in, Patriots don't look like to be the same Patriots that we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Things can always change, but they have an opportunity to ride this thing out for a very long time.
Yeah, we'll see because
We'll
right. I
see.
mean,
Yeah, we'll see.
it hasn't been done.
I know. I know.
We'll give it some, but yeah, it's looking like it, right? I would say. I mean, there's a good chance it's going to be them. Maybe the Dolphins. Dolphins can be competitive. I think it's going to be them too because they have a good infrastructure there. It just depends on their quarterback situation, all that shit, how that goes. But yeah, Bills really good win. Fucking great matchup this week. I think this is the matchup people have been wanting to see since the Bills been going hot. Let's just hope Patrick Mahomes is healthy
Yeah.
because I want to see Allen versus the Chiefs, Mahomes versus the Bills. Like, this is gonna be a great game. I already know who I'm choosing, but it's gonna be a good game. I think Josh Allen is gonna be that nemesis. People are saying maybe it's Lamar Jackson. I think it's gonna be Josh Allen and Mahomes for the next X amount of years because those guys are just dogs, man. They're at the top of
Yeah.
the game right now, and they're so young, so young.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, that this is if you're the NFL, this is kind of what you want to see. Again, a little foreshadowing here, but given what we saw in yesterday's Sunday night game, right? Like, two of the vets, again, we'll talk about that, a little later, but this, if you're the NFL, you want to see, hey, what's next? And future's bright in the NFL. And that's great as fans, right? For fans, and especially in cities that, we're so accustomed to seeing the Patriots every fucking year. It's so good to see teams like Kansas City, the Bills, like
Really
kind of
good fan bases,
rejuvenate.
man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fan bases are good. Rejuvenate
Crazy.
the
These guys are crazy
yeah,
motherfuckers, bro.
yeah. So hey, look, huge shout out to Bills Mafia. Huge win for this team, man. I mean, I think the biggest concern for you, Hamish, for this week for the Bills was their defense. I mean, I know you've talked about whether or not their defense could sustain. I mean, they played a hell of a game. I think it's obviously they have a huge challenge in front of them next week,
Yeah.
but the team we're going to be talking about next are the Browns versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs won this game 22-17. And look, let's start things off with the Chiefs, man. Patrick Mahomes, 255 yards, 1 touchdown. Um, they were making things look really easy in this game at the beginning, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I thought this game was over,
Oh yeah. No, yeah,
right?
it looked like it.
Yeah,
But
it looked like it was over.
there's a couple, whatever, it could have been closer than you think with the Browns and
Oh, for sure.
the fumble over the end zone. What do you think about that rule?
Um, so when I saw it happen, I called it a fumble immediately.
So okay, it's a fumble, but who gets like possession, right? That's the big thing. Like it goes to the other team, the defense.
Uh, what do I think about that rule? I mean,
Because people are saying like the offense should get the ball back, right? Because they lost it. But what people, the counter argument is like you lost it in the end zone, and the end zone is the place that the defense is trying
the
to keep
defense
you
is
out
trying to
of.
keep you out of. Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's your fault for losing the ball in the end zone. So it should, because that's your possession, or like that's your territory. So you should get the ball. That's what people are saying, which makes sense to me. Because I mean, it doesn't make sense like you fumble, you get the ball at the 1 yard line, because then people just fucking throw the ball out of bounds and then just like get the ball at the one, right? So that's a flaw right there.
I don't know. I mean, I think I think it's ruled correctly. You fumble in the end zone, it should be the other team's ball.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you just got to like. There was the McCourty twins. I saw it on Twitter. They're like, That's why Bill's like Bill always says don't reach out. Like, and they're saying they screamed at the TV like don't fucking like
Don't
stretch
ever
the ball.
reach out. Don't ever reach out unless
And you have
you know
firm.
you can get down, right? Because the
Right.
problem is like, and again, I mean, I think the rule is a little weird, right? Like crossing the plane is one thing, right? I mean, crossing the plane is fine, but not
Gotta
having
be
the
in control.
ball,
In
yeah, you
control.
have to be in control. So if you're crossing the plane and you're not firmly holding that possession of the ball, that's it. I
Yeah, no,
mean,
it makes
you
sense.
lost possession.
It makes sense. So
I like that rule.
it sucks, for the offense, but they did that. So
And
don't
again,
fuck.
that's the reason why. I mean, look, I'll put it in perspective. Sorry to cut you off. I'll put it in perspective. Like you just said, the McCourty twins talk about this, right? What fundamental guru did they come out of? Belichick, right?
That's what I'm saying.
There's a reason why like people from that organization are so savvy because that's preached, right? Like, don't do this, right? Like, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
it's not
so
worth it. It's not
it's
worth it.
not.
You get the ball at the one, go down, whatever. Don't stretch it. Go down at the one, get your opportunity, and go in.
Well, and I'll even take it one step further. You can do it. If you want to do it, these players are so like, some of them are like, hey, whatever, like it's a playoff game. They'll try to be exciting about it. But know your competition. You can't afford to give the Chiefs the ball back. You know what I mean? Like,
They don't think like that, man.
no,
Coaches think like that.
I know.
Players
But I'm
don't.
saying like that. But that's the different. Like, but that's you just talked about it. The McCourty twins. These are players. These are not coaches. And even like they were the ones yelling at the TV, right? Like fundamentals get brought down from coaching, but that they come down to the players, right? And I think that's the difference between a Super Bowl team or a winning team and a team that's just kind of like there.
I'll give it is hard to think about that situationally because you think you're there and you think you can do it, but sometimes it
Sure,
just these players are freak athletes. Like sometimes shit happens. So maybe he knew it, maybe he didn't. Who knows, right? But
sure.
as for the rule, it makes sense.
It
That's
makes sense.
controversial right now. Like, but I mean, we gave you our rule. Like, there, you got to give me a good argument why the offense should get the ball
Exactly.
back. And if you guys have any,
Exactly.
just let us know down in the DMs, whatever. Like, let us know what you guys are thinking because, I mean, it seems like it's pretty sound rule fundamentally because
Yeah.
there's touchbacks and all that shit. So it kind of aligns within the scope of the NFL rules right now.
Yeah. But it's crazy. So like going back to the Chiefs, man, Patrick Mahomes had himself a bit prior to, the incident, and we'll talk about that.
Incident,
But
bro. My guy was like,
I know,
he
I
looked like you
know.
when we were at the bars, buddy.
Man, dude, he was barely he couldn't even stand up, boy. But you look at dude. I mean, look at this team though, man. Like they brought in Chad Henne, and dude,
Anything is
anything is
possible.
possible, man. He
That
came
was
in.
dope. Yeah,
Whew,
when Patrick, Patrick Mahomes tweeted that right after the game, I was like, bro, this guy's playing next week. Like he got all the concussion questions out. I was like,
oh yeah, 100%, hundred
but yeah,
percent.
like you said, I mean, he came in with that swag. Me and my brother watching the game, and we were like, all right, he threw that fucking dumbass interception. Like he like just fucking
Yeah,
pat, and then two like in the air for like 50 seconds or like fucking it was like a minute. And we were like, what the hell is he doing? And my brother was like, he thinks he's Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah. A part of me is wondering though if like that was like an intentional play call, right? Like they're like, hey, look, defense is probably like, nah,
Nah,
like, and then like, who knows? Sometimes you take a little gamble, but then
that
man,
was
like, check that. But then he settled his nerves. It was all. I mean, he ended the game really well, man. I mean,
no, he did.
he had that beautiful run at the end of the game.
Oh, that
You
was
know
dog. That was dope, bro. That was cool. But yeah,
that.
what I know people, and you're talking about the offense right now, but you got to give credit to the Chiefs defense.
Oh, for sure.
Cleveland, after that interception, they had the ball. Momentum is on their side. They could possibly, score to win the game. You see defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo just like fucking blitz Baker, make it really hard on him, and then Chiefs defense once again, they're so underappreciated. Like it's crazy because like they've made so many like big plays in so many like big situations
Sure.
that they don't get enough credit just because it's not Patrick. Patrick Mahomes is a flashy guy, but they got ballers and
Yeah.
they continuously make plays. So
And you're 100% right. I mean, their defense. Look, going back to what we saw last year in the Super Bowl, right? And even that during that run, right? There were games where you're like, wow, this defense is just this is going to be the hindrance to the team, right? Like, they're not showing up in certain games or they're giving up points or whatever it is. But when it's crunch time, I don't know what it is. I mean, I keep reverting back to that Texans game, right? Where you're like, this game should have been over. Team hunkers down. The offense scores with like 42, 48 points unanswered, and defense doesn't give up shit the rest of the game, right? Niners game, right? I think it
bro,
was
that's what people
three.
don't. They think like Patrick Mahomes, but that defense
No,
was
that
like
defense should no,
making
dude,
plays.
and Steve Spagnuolo doesn't get a lot of credit. I mean, I saw this stat, and I saw the stat last year, but they brought zero sacks, or not sacks, zero blitzes against the Niners offense up to for three full quarters. That fourth quarter, Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a third string quarterback, right? I mean, if you guys
Like,
watch that, right? Like,
bro,
but
it was
but that's
it,
because the Niners weren't anticipating it. The three quarters, there was not a single blitz, and they're like, okay, cool, there's no blitz packages in here. Let's just, and then all of a sudden, I think they ran 7 blitz packages in the fourth. You throw a team off completely. I mean, that's smart. That's smart thinking. That's forward
so
thinking.
yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, Baker, he's not the most mobile. He's mobile, but fucking only players that can get out of a blitz is like a corner blitz or just like a free, is like Mahomes, Allen,
Lamar.
Rodgers, like these fast core. So you make them uncomfortable, make a quick read and possibly a bad read, and then it's game. Like you
Yeah.
got it. So he did a great job. One thing I like about those blitzes, they're timely.
Yep.
Uh, that happen right at the right moment. So
Yep.
he's perfected that, and they take risks on defense. Like that's a risk right there, and that's from top to bottom what the Chiefs do. Andy Reid takes a fucking risk. That fucking fourth down call, like even Tony Romo was like, nah, he's not gonna pass it. He's not gonna pass it. Or yeah, he's not gonna pass it. They're just gonna fake spike. And he's like, oh shit, they fucking did it. Like he was surprised. So like
Yeah.
gutsy call. Like they got some dogs. They always go for it, like on fourth and one, fourth and short. Like they take risks, and at some time in these games, in these moments, you have to
You
take
just have
risks.
to. You have to.
So kudos to Andy Reid and that staff. They did a good job. One thing I will say, before we move on to the next game, if we do Cleveland Browns, hell of a season.
Yeah.
They had a chance to win. Just their defense. That I think it shows like their defense missing a couple pieces. Get some players there, and maybe a linebacker, another defensive like lineman, maybe secondary too, and they'll be good because Baker has played really well these past month. I think early on, it was Baker struggling. He's getting carried by the run game, and he is to an extent. But now they complement each other well. Baker makes a lot of plays on the run.
Yeah.
He's throwing darts, and they didn't even have Odell. So imagine, bring back Odell next year. First year in Kevin's fantasy system, year two humming, because people forget Baker's had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years.
Yep.
So it hasn't been really easy for him too. But he's there. It looks like he's found his footing in this league. Browns, they should be in the playoff mix again next year. We'll see if they can take that leap to Super Bowl based on their offseason.
Yeah, I mean, they've been one of the surprise teams of the season. In terms of offense, I mean, they have the personnel is there, right? Like you said, I mean, arguably, I mean, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I mean, if you had 2 of those running backs, I mean, if you had one of those running backs on your team, you're happy. You're happy. You got 2 of them on the same fucking team, bro. Like that's unheard of, right? You look at their receiving core. I mean, like you said, you have Odell. If he comes back, I mean, who knows if they trade him this offseason or whatnot. But Odell, Landry. I mean, dude, Landry was kind of a pleasant surprise towards the end of the season, right? He started, he started to pick things up. He's the Iron Man. I didn't realize he hasn't missed a game since he's entered the league. Like, kind of crazy.
Knock on wood.
I mean, Rashard Higgins has been a nice kind of, kind of piece as well into this offense. They have the potential. Defensively, I mean, we know that front with Myles Garrett. I mean, like you said, they're missing a few players, a few pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I mean, they were a pleasant surprise. I mean, the Browns may have turned a corner. Who knows? I mean, unfortunately, they're in a very tough. I think, in my opinion, one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. But we'll see. I mean, that's going to be a fun team to watch moving forward because they're young. I mean, they're not old. They're a very young team, even with Baker Mayfield. And I think, Baker Mayfield's also, in my opinion, like he's not a top 10 quarterback, but he's not a bottom 30. Like he's middle of the pack. Are they gonna? I mean, is he gonna help them win games? Yeah. Is he gonna help them win Super Bowls? I don't know. I mean, I'm not confident in Baker. I'm not confident in Baker, to be honest.
I think give him another year, and I think he'll he's going on the right trajectory right now. Okay. And he was number 1 pick for a reason, man. He can do it, I think. And like I said, can they, like, if I look at a quarterback, can he make plays out of the pocket? And Baker did that consistently in these last 2 games. Like, he's able to create. He may not be the most mobile, but he is able to make some plays, and he has a really good arm to complement that.
Let me ask you a question. So before we move on to the next game. So I think there were 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round of his draft class 3 years ago. Where do you rank him out of those 5 quarterbacks as of today? I can name you all 5 of them right now. It's Lamar.
I know.
Just to give our list, it was Baker 1, and then it was Darnold off the board. Then it was Allen, Rosen, and then Lamar was kind of at the end of that first round. So of those 5, how would you rank the 5 of them right now?
Well, we know who 1 is Josh Allen. I think 2 is still Lamar because he has that potential. He's able to do more as a quarterback than Baker. Baker 3, Darnold 4, Rosen 5.
Rosen's like not even in the league.
Yeah.
So for me,
back up for 49.
I know.
Chill.
Here's the crazy thing, and I know people are gonna look at me sideways and make fun of this thing, but I would say Sam Darnold is 3 and Baker's 4. I agree with your first 2, but here's the thing. No, and I see you smart.
USC stupid,
dude. No, but here's the crazy thing. If you put Darnold on this team, I think this team's a different animal, dude. You put Baker Mayfield on the Jets are still doing the same thing they're doing right now. The Jets they're hopeless. What I'm saying is I'm believing in the talent that's Sam Darnold. I think if you put Darnold on this team, I think this is a different team.
Only reason I put Baker is just because I've seen him do it.
With talent.
Okay, I mean he did. He was good his first year. Didn't have that much talent too. So, I'll give him that edge. It's been more consistent from him. He hasn't been injured like Darnold too. So, that's another thing too. Darnold just hasn't had playing time. I think, we may have a different conversation next year, right? It seems like that order is flip-flopping every fucking year. Yeah. First year it was Baker, right? Baker's number 1. Then second year is Lamar. Now it's Josh Allen. It's Darnold's time. And, Jets, we saw who they hired, right? Robert Saleh, 49ers.
Defensive-minded, man.
They got, but that OC, what's his name? Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur.
He's going to have some of that Kyle Shanahan, same Stefanski. It's going to be heavy run game, boot, play action, all this shit. So it's going to be able to, help.
New York, get my man some fucking weapons, man. You guys cannot let Sam Darnold out like this. This is bullshit.
I think they're going to keep him. I think they're going to keep him, and I think he'll look much better next year.
Yeah. I
I
hope
think the
so.
whole
I
team
hope
will.
so.
That whole team will. So
All right. All right. Let's move on. Last game of the week. And this one
yes, sir.
was sad, man.
Sad.
Sad, yeah,
Oh,
because there's
you guys.
potential. Yeah, potential, man.
I've
Again,
been
I think
saying it for like 3 years.
I know. I think underrated though, but Drew Brees, man. But hey,
Overrated. Underrated.
you think overrated? Okay, all right. The Saints losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 30-20.
You picked the
Let's.
Saints, right?
I did pick the Saints because it was a feel good story, man. Like Drew Brees potentially on his way out
Bro, I told you,
at
man.
home. At home,
Last 4 years. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell my brother this as well, man. Like before the game, you do not announce it's Drew Brees' last game.
I know. I
Once they
know.
did that, I was like, they're losing. They're
It's
losing, dude.
over. It's over.
I was like, you said, feel good story. I was like, man, this has bad ending story because it's his last game of the season. He's gonna at home, he's gonna lose.
All right. So let's hop into this. Let's talk about the Saints real quick. So, as we know, the announcement comes out right before the game. Right, the announcement comes out. Right, hey, this is Drew Brees' last game, but this could be his last game, or
They
whatever
fucked
this
that
run.
up.
And you're like, wait, what? No way. Like, okay. I mean, it's like you said, it's about time, right? I mean, we're starting to see things slow down. Arm strength's obviously not been all that great. Michael Thomas has been bailing him out left and right the last couple of seasons. But that was not the case this weekend. Drew Brees looked like the worst quarterback in all these divisional rounds, divisional matchups that we saw. I mean, he was atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis Winston had one pass and he was the best quarterback on the field.
Put my boy in. Oh,
He
not
had
the best quarterback.
No, I'm talking about for the Saints. For the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, he came in. You're like, what? I mean, I saw that bomb and I was like, well, why did you guys pull him out?
He was
Keep him in. Yeah. Yo, all right, man. Keep him in, dude. The crab legs are cooking. Keep him in, boy. What are y'all doing? Oh man. But so we saw what happened here, man. This Saints. I mean, look, I think a lot of this rests on Drew Brees' shoulders, man. I mean, Alvin Kamara did what he could. I mean, 85 yards. But unfortunately, they just couldn't get the ball really moving in the air. I mean, 134 yards, 3 interceptions. Good Lord.
You blame it on Drew Brees. A lot of those interceptions were late, when he had a press, but
At the end, yeah.
I can't put it on Drew Brees, man. I will say they were up 20-13, right, with the ball.
Yep.
The play that fucked them, and probably the biggest play of the game, Jared Cook fumble. Antoine Winfield stripped him. They were up 20-13. It looked like they were driving. They had all the momentum in the game. It just looked like if they even made it 23-13, 27-13, whatever it is, it felt like the Bucks were they're pressed, right? Their offense wasn't doing anything. The Saints defense had a good grasp on everything they were doing. So that play, huge shift to the momentum of the game. Bucks got a quick touchdown to Mike Evans, 2020. And then, Saints get the ball back. He throws that interception to Devin White, who was all over the place. He looked fucking phenomenal. I will give more credits to the Bucks defense. They did show up. They made timely plays. Because it looked like early on the Bucks offense did nothing. Bucks defense made a couple plays to give them short fields and everything. So they look good. They carried that team. And I think they did something really what I've been clamoring, make Drew Brees win the game. Like they made it tough for Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, it came out now. He's been fighting injuries all year. But he got fucking strapped down by Carlton Davis. Like he couldn't do anything. So
he didn't do anything. He didn't do
he
anything.
He couldn't do it physically, and he didn't do anything. So they made it really tough, and exploited the Saints' offense, which is Drew Brees, and he has been for the past 4 years. That's why they've exited the playoffs the last 4 years, because really good defenses know how to stop this.
I mean, if you have Saints fans, I was about to say, if you have Saints fans, the reason why they haven't really been bounced is because the white and black stripes.
Well, not in the Minnesota game. They fucked that one up, right? Like it's just like that's why these games are competitive, even though we know they're the best team in those games.
Right.
They shouldn't be that close, but Drew Brees and that offense is limited in how the explosive plays are created. It's a lot of dink and dunk, quick hitters, 5 yards. That's why people call Michael Thomas the slant god or whatever slant.
Yeah, the slant god. Yeah.
That's all he does. He doesn't run anything else, and that's what their offense is dump offs to Alvin Kamara. That's all it is. It's nothing explosive, nothing up the seams, verticals, nothing. So it's going to be interesting. It's a bad ending, but usually good quarterbacks, their endings aren't that, or all-time great quarterbacks, their endings are never good because it's not what they used to be,
Yeah,
and they're holding on to get back to that. But it had to end at some point. It was a couple of years late, in my opinion, for Drew Brees, but
for sure.
he finally did it. It sucks, he didn't get a Super Bowl ring. At least he has one. That's what I say. Like, people feel bad for him not like getting to another one, but he has one, so
He
it's
has
chill.
one. Yeah,
Like,
he
relax,
has
bro.
one.
You're 40 something. Go chill with your kids.
Look, he has one. He has some of the record. He has some.
Yeah,
He holds some
he's fine, bro.
records.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
So, but yeah, the other thing is, like, it's gonna be interesting to see who they put at quarterback, right? Is it Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston? Do they go another option? But if you're asking me, I think it's gonna be Taysom Hill, just because that newness, that he's kept him for three
Oh,
fucking years, 4 years of like a project quarterback.
I thought the same thing. It's not. I think it's going to be James Winston.
No, I think Jameis is gonna be a backup. I think they're gonna send him back to a backup contract because Taysom Hill
Interesting.
does get hurt because he plays that physical running game. They do
Yeah.
that run.
I,
I think it's gonna be Taysom.
I disagree. And you know what? I think Taysom Hill had an opportunity this season, that stretch where he had to kind of showcase. I mean,
He
and
played
I mean,
better.
he got better and they got W's. Don't get me wrong, but you can't confidently tell me he looked like a starting quarterback. You cannot confidently tell me like, oh yeah, he looked like a starting quarterback in the NFL. He did, because he didn't, right? Like, and I think that's where Jameis Winston has that leg up on him. I don't think Jameis Winston has had a
When
great
when
career, poor
when
guy,
did
but
James Winston show that this year?
no,
What
I'm not saying no, but Jameis Winston has a career of being a starter in the NFL.
30-30? Are you?
I understand, but 30-30, I think he had over like 4,000, 5,000 yards. Like, I mean, the guy has talent, right? I mean, we could talk shit all we want, but he definitely has talent, right?
No,
Like,
I know, but people, I think
Taysom Hill can barely get you 150 yards a game, bro.
I think what Sean Payton has wanted is one of that running element, that I think that's why that's more intrigue. And dude, they've invested so much. It's gonna be really hard for me to believe that they're gonna move on from him.
Well,
And it'll be a quarterback competition, and I think it's gonna always be Taysom Hill has the edge, just like.
sure.
But it's gonna be unfair to Jameis because I think Jameis, like, I agree, he's talented, but just the way they've orchestrated all this and kept him, they could have let him
Yeah.
go last year, and they brought him back, and they used him this year. Started him over Jameis. It just tells me that they want Taysom to start.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, in the offseason with a lot of these decisions. Drew Brees might come back for another year. Who knows?
No, fuck, no,
So,
please.
so let's pivot over to the Bucks, man. So, look, Tom Brady, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, like you said, it wasn't anything spectacular about the Buccaneers offense, right? I mean, I will say Leonard Fournette, he's looking good. I mean, he's not.
So remember, I think I told you in the preview, or I don't know if I said this, but Bucks did not run the ball at all in that blowout win that the Saints had.
Yeah.
I think they ran it like less than 10 times. This game, they had like over 30 runs. So they stayed patient with the run game. Like you said, Fournette looked pretty good. Ronald Jones, even though he was hurt, he had a little bit of burst to him. So he looked good. They were able to keep the Saints defense honest. And then, Brady was able to strike when he could. And he did that.
Yeah.
So it was good balanced offense. Good for Bruce Arians to stay with that balanced approach, because usually he's just a fucking go-getter and just like unleashes it. So
Hey, yeah, I mean, look, I think that's one of the things that's very scary about the Bucks, right? Is we know that they have a very veteran group here, right? I mean, you have Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Gronkowski. I mean, Fournette's a veteran in this league at this point, right? I mean, their wide receiving core is really good. I think their defense, we had talked about, has had a bit of an up and down this season. But dude, everything I saw yesterday was, I mean, this is what you want, right? From a team that's getting ready for this, potential Super Bowl run. Like, this is what you want. You want a steady pace of offense, right? Where you can get them on the ground and in the air, and your defense just shows up, and they look good. I mean, they look good. I mean, obviously we'll talk about more, with their matchup against the Packers later this week, but I think this is going to be, I mean, the next round of the playoffs is going to be a lot of fun to watch. The championship round is going to be a lot of fun to watch because,
yeah.
I think what one of the team's strengths may be on one side of the ball is the strengths of the other team. You know what I mean? And we're getting to that where it's like, I mean, obviously this is the reason why you're fighting for Super Bowl, right? Like you're getting this far in the season is because you're fine tuning, you're making the adjustments. And the Buccaneers, in my opinion, I mean, they had a very hot start at the beginning of the season, then they kind of went away and their defense stopped showing up. And I really didn't have a lot of faith in them. Now, I think at the beginning of this playoff thing, I did take the Bucks to win, to get to the Super Bowl. But, a part of me really thought that the Saints defense could step up and slow them down, but they really didn't. And I think
No,
that's a testament.
They did. They
Well,
did.
they
It's
did.
just
But I
when
mean,
look, your offense puts you in bad positions. It's
correct.
really hard for the defense to that's
But
gonna hold true all the time.
But I'm saying, like, they took advantage of, like you talked about, right? The the Buccaneers defense allowed Tom Brady to take advantage of short fields, right? But you still have to take advantage of those opportunities, which I think this offense did, right? I mean, they were able to. I mean, they had 3 touchdowns as an offense. I mean, you can't really. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, that's their defense handled the rest, right? But I'm saying, like, this is. I mean, do they look like the scariest team in the playoffs right now? Probably not,
Bucks,
right? Yeah. Do they look like the scariest team right now?
Chiefs
No.
always gonna be the scariest.
No. But even between like their potential, like out of all 3 teams there, like they're probably the least scariest, right?
I don't know. They're all like in that same cluster.
I don't think so. I think they're the least scariest. I really do. I mean,
Well, Packers defense still scared. I mean,
the Packers are starting to turn things around, man.
So the game script has to go a certain way for the Packers to win. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see, man. If they don't get a lead early, they've always faltered, and
Sure.
they get away from that run pass, alternation balanced offense. So
Yeah.
that's what scares me about them. The Bucks just showed that they can win when their offense isn't going, and their defense can carry them against a pretty good offensive team. So, and the Saints defense is no joke. Saints defense way better than the Packers defense, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So Bucks did show more, like than what the Packers do. I just, there's the Aaron Rodgers factor, which, he's playing at a high level right now. So, I mean, like you said, we'll talk about that later in our, preview, but I don't know. It seems like they all have their, like you said, they all have their highs and lows or, flaws and good things, but Bucks, they have some good qualities about them that make it, that they can come back and,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that they have going for them is just their veteranship, right? I mean, on the offensive side, I mean, their defense is good. They have talent, but I think what's going to help them, again, just if they advance, is going to be the fact that they have a lot of solid veteran status players on their team. I mean, and Tom Brady's one of them. I mean, Bruce Arians came out, and I think this might be more of a jab at Bruce Arians than anyone else, where he came out and said, "I don't have to coach. I don't need."
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that was more of like, I mean, I'm looking at that like, first of all, Bill Belichick has 6 rings, but like, take your seat, right? Like, but at the same time, maybe that's because Bruce Arians is not comfortable coaching this level of talent, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, that's what I'm looking at.
I think Bruce has that personality where he'll say it, but I mean, you want to know what he knows, right? And like let him. Obviously, people call him a GOAT for a reason. People talk about his mental, like he's really good. So
yeah,
you take advantage of that. Don't be. That's the good thing about a coach. Like if somebody knows maybe more or something, like
let him take advantage.
Don't be stubborn like that. Sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Be open to learning, and that's what I mean. I think that's what all the good coaches do. You see it, like Sean Payton. What did he learn last week? Right, the Bears almost scored on that trick play. They fucking use that trick play this week and score. So
yep.
They learn and take things from other people. So it's not a stab at. Yep. It's just like, all right.
So, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens up this upcoming week. I mean, like I said, we have some big matchups coming in the championship rounds. Man, okay, all right. So, y'all know what to do. Like, follow, subscribe. 4th to 17. Like I said, we're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're posting these videos on YouTube. But we're coming back. We're coming back in the next couple of days. So stay tuned. So 4th to 17 podcast.
We out.